G'day everyone, welcome back to Two Colts In The Kong, another episode, Ed. Any news to report on this week?
I think there's a little bit to discuss, Adam. Let's start from last weekend. Of course, we did our preview at the races on Sunday before the meeting. Golden 60 was the star of the show, winning the Classic Cup. Pretty good start, I thought.
Yeah, he was awesome. He's an awesome horse. He's very, very good. He looks like a Group 1 horse every day of the week. I know these races aren't Group 1s, but...
Group 1's in prize money, but not in stats.
Exactly, but he's a star of the future. He had a little setback, but he went on his merry ways. He was held up at a vital stage. Zach whipped off around him on more than this. He looked in a little bit of trouble, but cool, calm, collected Vincent Ho. We spoke about him plenty of times before. He's a special talent. Kept his cool, got out late, and it was all over.
Does he win the Derby?
On his recent efforts, yes, but he did look like a horse that was very, very tired after his last run. So I'm hoping that he has come through that run well. I thought more than this was exceptional. He had to do a lot of work from the back of the field, so don't ignore his run. I think Zach will ride him a little bit differently next start. I still think he's a horse that just needs to be ridden quiet. Even if he draws, 2 or 3 in the Derby, yeah. I still think Zach will pull back a bit and let him relax her out. He does have some bad mannerisms, of horse, and he still has a lot to learn. So he's still a really nice horse, but he's got a lot of maturing to do. But I think if he can produce his best on Derby Day, it's up to them too.
At least with 4 weeks between the Classic Cup and the Derby, there's plenty of time for them to get over any issues or just to have a slight freshen up, I guess, after the Classic Cup.
Yeah, it is. They get a little freshen up. If I was Francis Lloyd now, I sort of thought maybe more than this was a little bit dour in his last run. So I don't know. I wouldn't trial him personally. I'd keep him a little bit fresh. I'd let him try and find that little bit of zap that he does have in those legs when he does let rip, because he does have a very good turn of foot. So I don't know what Francis is going to do, but I wouldn't be shocked if he does try him, but I wouldn't be shocked at all if he doesn't trial him. I think, personally, if it was me, I wouldn't trial him, so I'd just try and keep him on that little bit of a fresh side.
Okay, so that was Sunday. Tuesday we saw Athero back at the trials. You were like a kid on Christmas Eve getting to see a favourite horse back. Does it feel like Christmas has been cancelled, that he's not running in Dubai, or just wait for those presents another time?
Christmas is a tick for me, because I'm happy that he's not going to run. He's not the same horse at the moment. He showed that in his trial. He didn't look like himself up close. I have seen him a few times. I have perved on him a few times, Edward.
I know you have.
He didn't look like the same horse, the same Athero. So I think it's a blessing in disguise that he's going to miss these runs. Of course, we would have loved to have seen him in this Class 1. That's going to be a cracking race in a couple of weeks' time. But at the end of the day, it's all about the horse, and I'm glad that the horse is going to be very well looked after. And you just wait till he comes back bigger, better, more mature, because I think that's going to be the making of it.
So the Chairman's Sprint Prize would be the next target. The Sprint Cup a few weeks before, in early April, the most likely time that we do get to see him.
Yeah, I think that's when we definitely will see him. And again, using the trainer's head, I'd love to see him maybe go Chung Fa for a bit. It's proven at the moment. It's a great facility in China. If everything passes on and we can send horses there, I'd love to see him go there. And I'd love to see him just have a nice break and have a big relaxing breath, because when he does get back to his best, I don't think anything will get near him.
We've heard this season that John Moore's had international ambitions with his horses, with Beauty Generation and with Athero. Neither of them are going to Dubai. We've heard Japan mentioned as an end-of-season target for Beauty Generation. Just off the top of my head, if he's not going to Dubai, Athero, could Royal Ascot or something like that at the end of the season potentially come up and be on the cards for him?
Yeah, of course. I guess it all depends on his next run as well. He was back to his winning ways last start. The big boy was back. I don't know if he's back as in we're going to see the best in him again, but it was good to see him back winning. And he looked down and out with about 200 to go, but his class and his toughness got him over the line. I don't know what they're going to do with him. It's up to the owners. I guess we'll leave that up to John and them.
Definitely. The other bit of news through this week, Hong Kong Racing's going to have a new sound to it on Sunday. Mark McNamara joins the Hong Kong Jockey Club It will be his first meeting at Sha Tin on Sunday. He was at the track on Friday. Terrific addition to the team. Well done to all concerned, and welcome along to Mark. It'll be great to have his dulcet tones accompanying the vision of Hong Kong racing.
Definitely, he's a great caller. Australia's lost is Hong Kong's game. We're very, very lucky over here to grab him. Unfortunately, Brett's gone home. He's now in Adelaide doing a great job, and should also give a mention to Tom Wood. I reckon his recent calling's been outstanding. He's done a great job, especially these big races. A lot of pressure on these race callers, and I wouldn't like to do it. It's a hard job. But good on Tom. He's done a great job. But we get Mark over now. I think he's a great caller. I've listened to him a lot at home, back home in Australia, and he's not afraid to have a go either on the line. And when he does, he's pretty spot on. He's a good caller, and I'm excited to see how he goes over here.
Yeah, I am too. All the best to him. His calls in New Zealand as well too, calling horses like Tiako Shark amongst others are really memorable. And well done to Tom Wood as well too. I'm biased being a friend and a colleague, but I think he's done a great job holding the fort over the last couple of months, and he's also got a big future ahead of him behind the binoculars.
Definitely give yourself a pat on the back, Woody.
So that's the news wrap. Let's find some winners, Adam.
Yep, Sunday. Another great card of racing. Thero's probably my number one on the card, and then I've probably got 2 and 3 here in on Sunday, which we'll get to that later on. There's some very, very nice young horses going around. And I think one, maybe if not 2, we could see in the Group 1s at the end of the year, maybe in a mile, international mile. I think one of them has the ability to definitely go there. But before that, we'll kick off the first race. Open race.
It is. A few newcomers as well too. I'm going to make a shout for the 7, Johnny, because I like the way that he trialled leading into his first up run. He finished midfield on that occasion, but he's coming back in trip. He's had that run under his belt. The blinkers go on. Chad Schofield goes on.
Yep.
I think he could run a cheeky race.
Yeah, I thought he'd run a good race first up. 1,200 back to 1,000 obviously ticks, and the blinkers I think is a big tick. It's an open race. I thought he was definitely an improver. I can't argue with you there. I thought Fighter Boy was outstanding on debut. He's going to need a lot of luck. He's drawn the wrong side of the track. But in saying that, horses have been winning from barrier 1 and 2 over the last few weeks.
Yeah, I don't think being drawn the inside part of the track on the straight is as bad as it used to be.
Not as bad as it used to be, but it is easy to get a lot of cover when you draw 14 when there's 10 other horses to your outside.
Yeah.
So, but if you're one and you're just facing the breeze out from barrier 1, it is a bit tough, but I like the way Fighter Boy ran on strongly for Ricky Yu. But I am going to go with the first starter, Decisive 12. Vincent Ho, Chris So. It's going to be big odds. I thought his recent trial was really good. He looks like a nice horse that really stretches out. He hasn't really been let off the bit in his trials, but I reckon if he can get a nice cosy run in behind them, he'll be finishing off very strongly on debut.
So that's the first, the class 4 over 1,000 metres. We'll move on to the class 5 over 1,600 metres.
Sorry about the noise. We've got no idea what these blokes are doing, but they're obviously building something.
You're getting the true Hong Kong experience with this podcast because there's always something going on. There's very rarely a quiet moment. Even when you go to Adam's beautiful mansion, it is even a bit noisy around there.
Yeah, it definitely is, Edward. Race 2.
Yeah, the class 5. Class drop Hurricane Hunter makes him interesting in the race. There's nothing, to be honest though, Adam, really jumped out at me.
Hurricane Hunter for me, best horse in the race, should get a little bit of a nice run from barrier number 9. Just in behind him, his recent trial was very, very good. And class 5, he's not a class 5 horse, he's a class 4, class 3 horse. He's got the ability, so I think he'll be running on strongly. Amazing Agility was good last up, but I'm gonna be on Hurricane Hunter, win and place in the second race.
What about though no Zach? He's riding Regency Gem. Do you read into the jockey bookings there?
Not really. Zach's done a lot of work on Regency Gem. He's ridden him a lot of times. He's gone back to Chung Fei. He's come back to Sha Tin. I don't know. I don't know what to read into there. I'm going to just stick with Hurricane Hunter just because I thought his recent trial was very good.
Okay, the third is the class 4 over 1,400 metres. Again, fairly open sort of a race. What way did you see it unfolding?
I went with Perfect Pair. I thought he was the best horse in the race. Back to class 4. Zach on his back, barrier 2. Chris So's horses have been going well recently. I thought he could run a big race, and Pretty Bohemia. I thought his last start was pretty good. I think he's going to be a big price. I reckon he's definitely one to put in your Cornellas or whatever exotic shoes are playing. And also So Happy, a horse that's going to be massive odds. He'll be over 100 to 1. Chad had no luck in him last start. I think he'll be running a big race tomorrow on Sunday. So keep a close eye on him from the Man for Man stable.
There's one thing I learned from last Sunday's podcast. It is that you can find these long shots, Adam. There was one that ran a good third at a big price, I think, last week that we found. So definitely these longer priced horses that Adam flags up are worth paying attention to. The Class 4 1200 metre race, a few new horses, a few lightly raced horses here. I've been taken by the way that Beluga has trialled. I interviewed Zach Burton about him, and he wasn't overly strong in his praise for the horse, but Zach plays his cards pretty close to his chest. From what I've seen, I do think he's a nice horse.
He is a very good horse. He is a very, very good horse. Unfortunately, he's drawn wide, but I think he'll still go forward, and it'll be all over. If he produces his best tomorrow on Sunday, no horse will get near him in this race, and he'll be on to bigger and better things.
Okay. What about Exponential, a horse who won first up? He was better last time out, blinkers on, back in trip. There's certainly something to work with him.
Definitely. He was good last start, much better last start. Eternal Harvest was okay on debut. Recent trial was good.
From the start as well, first up.
He did. A horse who I've been keeping a close eye on, and this is another horse. I've got a couple of horses in this race, big odds. I'm going to stand out Beluga and everything and play around with these numbers. Baby Storm.
Yep, always like the look of him.
Yeah, he's got the ability. He could run a huge race on Sunday. And Double Take from the Casper Found Yard. I like the way he found the line over the last 100 metres, 150 metres in his debut run. He's drawn to be more positive on Sunday. So I reckon he can run a big race at 100 to 1 as well. So definitely Beluga on top, but I'm going to play around with numbers 4, 5 and 14.
Okay, that takes us on to race 5 then. This is a Class 4 over 1,600 metres. He's still with Party every day.
Yep. He just does a lot wrong. He did do a lot wrong before the race last start. His leg did get... he had to get backed out the barrier, so I'm just happy to forgive that. I also look into if the way he ran was disappointing to the eye, but Zach's given him another chance. So obviously there's some ability there. The horse has the ability to blow this field away. He's a bit like a horse last week that I liked in the last race, Edward.
Mr. Eldan, is this Mr. Eldan take 2, Adam?
I think he just is a horse that needs to be ridden stone cold, and once he gets out, he'll let rip. But he does do a lot wrong. But I reckon if Zach can ride him like Karras did it with on Mr. Eldan, can get a little bit of free wild cover, get to the outside, he will let rip. He's definitely the best horse in the race. No argument against him.
Okay, I thought that Everlaugh backed out in class recently. Last start effort was good. I'd be giving him a solid push back to Party every day. If he was to not run so well on Sunday, would you be giving up, or do you still just think it's a matter of just giving time and you'll get a nice horse?
I think he's just time, yeah. I think he is time. He's a nice horse. He just needs time. Hopefully he goes to Chungfar and has a big break when he can. I think he'll come back a much bigger and better horse. He's got the ability. There's 2 runs there where he's shown very nice ability. His trials have always been good, but he just needs to be ridden quiet. And a horse at massive odds in that I'm going to have something small each way on is Joy and Fun Legend. His recent trials have been a little bit quiet at the back. He's been running on strongly, and I thought his last start effort was good. Keith Young takes a ride for Benno Young. Hopefully they can put the horse into the race and he can run on strongly.
Class 3, 1,000 metre sprint comes up as race 6 on the card. I think the winner's down the bottom for mine. I'm going to go for War of Courage in this race. Thought he's improved with every run that he's had. He was able to win last time out beating Fantasy. He's a pretty handy sort of horse, up in class, lightweight here. I think that he's still got rating points in hand.
Yeah, definitely. I reckon he's one of the good things on the card. He's a nice horse, and he's a nice horse on the up. A few of these horses in this race are also lightly raced with nice ability, but I just don't think they're as good as him. No weight in his back's a big tick. Chikorita's a nice horse, formerly with Brian Guy on the Gold Coast. He does look like a horse that needs a bit of time, but I think Zach's sticking with him, doing all the trials on him. I think he's a horse that we definitely need to respect. I think he's a horse that will run a big race tomorrow.
He looks like a pretty keen-going type. Even looking at his win at Ipswich, he just wanted to jump, run, and get on with it.
Correct. I think he's a nice horse. So hopefully Michael's found a nice horse, and I think Zach's doing all the work on him, so he's definitely got an opinion of the horse.
Okay, that takes us on to race 7, Class 3 over 1,400 metres. Field of 14 to line up. At the time, I was really taken by the trial with Gifted Lifeline, and I called that trial, and the way that he zoomed home was impressive. Looking at the replay again, it wasn't quite as good as what I first thought, but I still think the way that he trialled, he's definitely a chance if they run along here. He's one that I'm going to flag up, and Hardly Swears, I think, was perhaps ridden a little bit too close last time out at him. I don't think it allowed him to use his turn of foot. He's definitely a hope, as is Guy Dragon. They're the sort of few with Circuit 3, they're the 4 that I'd be playing around with here.
Yeah, I agree with Hardly Swears. I think he was ridden a bit too close last start, but he's drawn barrier 4 on Sunday, so I think they're going to probably sit there and be just behind him. I think Circuit 3 is a really nice horse. I think he's got Class 1 ability off his last win. He got the outside let rip. He's the best bet of the day for me that time, and I'm going to flag him as the best bet of the day again on Sunday. I think he's a really nice horse. He's drawn perfectly. 130 pounds won't hurt him whatsoever. He's a fit horse. Guy Dragon was exceptional last start. I just don't know which Guy Dragon we're going to get tomorrow on Sunday. So Circuit 3 for me, definitely in that race. A Great Treasure is a horse that I always love. He's always running on strongly, and a horse who definitely has a lot of ability. We just haven't seen it yet, and he's drawn wide again on Sunday. Is Orr. He's a horse that has definitely got the ability.
He's out, isn't he?
He's scratched definitely in. Is he?
Yeah,
okay,
pretty
well, there
sure
you go.
he's out. But he's
gone.
Definitely got nice ability.
Yeah, he's a horse that next season I think he's one that I thought could run a huge race when he does produce his best.
Okay. Race 8, Class 3, 1,200 metres. Does Inner Flame make it 4 in a row?
I've got him in my numbers, but he's going to have to be very good to make it 4 in a row. I think he's a good horse, but I did take him on last start. Thought he was going to get beaten, but he did fight back. I'm going to go with Galkari. I just thought he's going to be big odds tomorrow. Sunday, I don't know why I keep saying tomorrow. On Sunday, I think he's a talented horse on his day. I just hope they ride him quiet, because I think when they do ride him quiet, he lets rip with a really good turn of foot.
I think he's been a bit of a disappointing horse. Maybe we had too greater expectations of him, because the way that he won early on in his career, he looked like a really nice horse, but he's only won twice in 27 starts. From a betting point of view, I think he lets you down more often than he rewards you.
He does. I used to be the same. I don't think couldn't remember the last time I had a bet on this horse. I just thought it's that kind of race. I think we're going to get a lot of value because Inner Flame's going to be short. Carding Legend was good last start. Magic Supreme's a former horse from Australia who has a lot of ability, and Zach goes on his back on Sunday, which is a big tick. He hasn't ridden him in the races, so I think that's a little tip within itself. And Good Luck was outstanding last start, but second up after a long break is a bit of a concern. So I'm just going to have something each way on Alcari, but no confidence.
What about Happy Alumni? One last time out. I know you've always had a bit of time for him up in class, but he looks like a horse who is still improving.
Yeah, weight's good. He just needs to get that little bit of luck from his barrier. He'll be running on strongly late. He's definitely a nice horse. I think they could go a little bit hard in this race, so I think there could be some nice horses charging on from the back of the field.
Okay, the second last, Class 3 over 1,400 metres. Before you're talking about a horse who you think could be Group 1s at the end of the year, I guess that's far above you were referring to?
It was, Edward. It was a horror watch last start.
Yeah.
It was not Vincent Ho's fault. You cannot jump horses. It is.
What did Zach Purton say when he was on Fame Game in a Caulfield Cup? I'm not a helicopter.
That's exactly right. They don't have pogo sticks in their feet. So any people at home who think it's easy for these jockeys just to guide them through and push through, if a jockey does do that, that could end up in carnage. So Vincent had no luck last start. That's racing. That happens. Alexi tomorrow will draw barrier 5. I think he'll sit one off the fence, Edward. He will get to the outside and he'll show you how good a horse he is. I think it's just something about this horse. I really, really like him. He stretches out like a good horse. Douglas White has a really good opinion of the horse, and he's shown in all of his runs that he's a top class horse.
Well, when you look at his form, he's had 4 starts. He was beaten on debut by Theero. We know how good he is. We don't know how good he is. We're still learning how good he is, but we know that he's very good. He's had 2 wins since then, unlucky last time out. And I think whatever he's doing now is only a bonus, because I think when he gets older and he gets over a bit more ground, that's when we're going to see the best of him.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he'll be a horse, if Douglas White gets a trunk fast stable, I think at the end of the season he'll go there and have a good break. Freshen him up. He'll come back bigger and better next season. He's very, very exciting. It's a tough race. It's a lot of horse with a lot of chances, but he's class 3. If he's going to go close in the Group 1, he should be getting to the outside and winning this under a stranglehold.
Well, you spoke before about Golden 60.
Yep.
Now, these horses are both 4-year-olds. I think the 4-year-old series has come up too quickly for far above. He only made his seasonal reappearance in the middle of January. If he had got going earlier in the season, would we be talking about him as a 4-year-old series horse?
I think so, definitely, yeah. But I don't think he's a 2,000 metre horse, and I don't think Golden 60 is a 2,000 metre horse. Their class just gets them to the 2,000, and good horses find a way to win. I know it sounds stupid, but it's just what they do. Far above is that kind of horse. I think he's going to be a beautiful horse once he gets to 1,600 metres, and I really, really think this Group 1 International Mile at the end of the year is going to be an absolute cracker, because these young horses, it's about 4 or 5 of them with a serious turn of foot.
Definitely. Plus, you've still got horses like White Cuckoo who are just getting to their best as well too. So I think the mile division's got a lot of promise to it over the coming months. Final race is an absolute cracker, Adam. Class 2, 1,400 metres. Does the Durban Demon Demolition Domination continue here?
Yes, he's a good horse as well.
Super wealthy.
He's a proper horse. Beautiful looking horse. Big, strong, gorgeous horse. He was very good on his only start in Australia. He's come to Hong Kong. He's got bigger and better. He's drawn barrier 2. And this is the reason why Alexi Radel has stayed in Hong Kong for an extra week or an extra few days. He's a gorgeous horse. I think he's top class. He's a horse that I think later in the season too he'll be up to Group 1, Group 2 standard. There's a lot to like about him. In saying that, Glorious Spectrum is a horse that has been trialling outstanding. Has shown a lot of ability early on in his career, and the Ricky Yu team is flying. Neil picks up the ride on this horse. He's a really nice horse. I think Glorious Spectrum could be a near moral place bet. I just think you're going to get a good price about him, because super wealthy, I think it's going to be short, but I won't be taking him on. He's a really good horse, and I think that Dougie will be going bang bang in the last 2.
Okay, the other horses that I think are worth mentioning, Cordyceps rarely runs a bad race. He'll be up on the speed. If you're playing quaddies or multiples or those sorts of bets, I think he'd be worth including. And Superstar's always a horse that I've had a bit of time for as well. Last start went up in class, drawn a little awkwardly, but I think they'll get back. If there is enough tempo on, he's one that'll be finishing off. Decrypt. He didn't run out 1,600 metres in the Classic Mile. I don't think he's a miler. I know they bought him with the intention of being a Derby horse, but I actually think he's probably a 12 to 1,400 metre horse, but he's got class.
Totally agree with you. I said that a couple of starts ago. I don't think this horse is a stayer or a middle distance horse at all. He's, I think, 12, 1,400. He'll be back to his best on Sunday. But it's one of those races. My numbers are 7, 2, 1, 13, but I've also got written on the right-hand side 4, 5, 8, 11 and 14 have to be respected as well. Racing Fighter was a horse that had no luck last start, and Lobo's Legend is a horse that has a ton of ability, but he just keeps drawing off the track. So that'll be left into Chad's hands. And the reason why I wrote down number 5 is the first starter from the Tony Cruz Yard flashcard. He's shown nice ability in his trials. I don't think he's up to winning or beating these horses on Sunday, but he's a horse, once he finds his groove in Hong Kong, he'll be winning a few races.
Okay, it's easy to see where he got his name from. He is a flashy looking chestnut.
He is, yeah, he's a gorgeous horse. I think he's got a bit of a white face on him too. I think, but in the last, I think super wealthy, and after we back the last 2, we should be super wealthy.
Yes, we should, Adam. Your best for the day?
Circuit 3 and far above, but far above is going to be too short. I think he'll be well under the odds. So circuit 3 for me. Okay. What about yours?
I'm still figuring that out, Adam.
Okay.
If you tune into the coverage on Sunday, I don't want to spoil it for people who will be watching, so make sure you do tune in, and I'll be able to pass on my best to you then.
Beautiful. Anything else to report on?
No, not at this stage. I guess a couple of little things. Elusive State is going to Dubai.
Yep, off to Dubai. Joe keeps the ride, and hopefully we'll see one of John Moore's sprinters makes his way over there as well. So over the next few weeks, Big Time Baby's also going.
Yep.
No rider yet, but I really hope Matthew Chadwick keeps the ride on. He's done all the work on the horse. He deserves to ride him over there. So all the best to them. And Elusive State is pretty incredible to see where his career's come from. He was
from the verge of Class 5,
yep,
up to competing on Dubai World Cup night. Whatever happens on World Cup night, Tony Mevard deserves enormous amount of credit for what he's been able to do, yep, with this horse.
He's done a great job, and I noticed, I can't think of the horse's name at the moment, you might be able to. Tony's got a new stable change from the Benno Jung stable.
Not Usual Talent.
Not Usual Talent. Goes to Tony's yard. What he does with these horses when he receives them off other trainers, he just does a great job. So keep an eye on Not Usual Talent over the next month or 2. He could jump out of the air, and he's a nice horse. He's got the ability to win a really nice race.
One horse that I think I should be bringing up, I should have brought it up a few minutes ago, but forgot. But a bit of a whisper from the track. Douglas White, who I interviewed this morning for Race Into Win, does believe that Smiling City can run an improved race back to the turf in that 9th race. So although obviously far above the main one from the stable,
yep,
maybe just keep an eye out on the 10, even have a little something in.
Well, so you think he's a horse that was formerly with David Hayes. 2 starts ago, he was backed at big odds on the dirt. There was another little niggle around for him last start. So there is money around to suggest that he's obviously showing a little bit of ability in the mornings. His form to me, he hasn't been good enough, but Douglas still did a great job with his horses, and he can get these horses at big odds to jump out of the ground. So definitely, yeah, Edward could be right there. Could be one to add in your exotics at the big odds.
Okay, so after this meeting, Wednesday night back at the Valley, and then Sunday at Sha Tin,
yep,
month of March begins, and we're really all building up to the Derby, aren't we? This is the focus for the month.
Yeah, it's probably international and Derby's probably your 2 biggest meetings of the season. I love the Derby. I love seeing young horses go for their grades. I love seeing what trainers do to get these horses to peak on the big days. And Francis Lloyd's already got his horses to peak, go bang bang in the first 2 legs. And you know what? If Goldie 60 can win 3 in a row, it's an exceptional performance. He's a horse that's obviously had his setbacks, and he did look like a really tired horse after the other day, but the reason why he could be tired is because he's a horse that just tries his guts out, pins his ears back, and he doesn't know how to lay down. So I take my hat off to Francis. I really like him as a guy. He's always got so much time to talk to people, so I'd love to see that horse win 3 in a row and then go on to bigger and better things, and we could be sitting here next year talking about an absolute superstar that he's winning his picket fence could still be going.
Final one for you, because I know a lot of our viewers are based in Australia.
Yep.
You with Alligator Blood or Catalyst tomorrow?
2 stars. I don't normally go for the Kiwis against the Aussies. I'm with Catalyst tomorrow. I think he just needs to be ridden that little bit quieter, let him finish off. But Alligator Blood's an absolute star. He's a tough horse. Seen a few people potting him on Twitter. I don't know how you could pot the horse. He's a very, very good horse, and so is Catalyst. It's going to be a cracking race, but a lot of other nice horses in that race too, so it wouldn't shock me if something else popped out of the ground and won at big odds. But Catalyst,
Yeah, I'm with him as well too, and I'm hoping that an old favourite, Happy Clapper, can run a big race in Sydney as well.
Yeah, he looked flat first up, and then he looked like he was going backwards, and then he got going again late. He's a tough old horse. He's a champion. Paddy Webster's done a great job with him, and Blake's riding in Sydney tomorrow. Blake Shin. He'll be back here on Sunday, so all the best to Blake. Good to see him get a Group 1 another Group 1 next to his name. So we will see you all on Sunday. Make sure you don't miss any of the live action. The last few races are absolute crackers, but early on we've got some really good races, and I think there's a lot of value to be made throughout the day.
Okay, best of luck, Adam. We'll see you at the races, and we hope to have your company with the trackside coverage wherever you're watching from right around the world.